Hello, my name is Bruce Sawalski. I'm author of Canadian Wilderness Survival and Chief Instructor of the Boreal Wilderness Institute. And today I would like to talk about an aircraft safe fire kit. If you like learning real survival knowledge, then please support me by following me on YouTube and liking this video. So first of all, I gotta talk a little bit about this. This is an aircraft safe fire lighting kit. It's Mark II of my design work. There's Mark I right there that I've talked about in another video, which I'll link. Now, one of the things that came up in the most questions about this was, what do you mean by aircraft safe? So first of all, this doesn't mean you can pick this kit up and go through airport security. Sorry, I can't do that. It doesn't work. It's never going to be functional. What that means, though, is for those of us who travel in Canada's north or up into Alaska, in remote locations by helicopter or small plane, this meets Transport Canada regulations in terms of the safety of the items concerned. And we'll talk about the differences where you might want to store it differently depending on how you're traveling. Functionally, though, every part meets their specification of being safe. So that's what we mean by aircraft safe. So first of all, what do I mean by Mark II? Why is this Mark II? Because I've supplemented it, I've updated it, and I've enhanced it. I truly believe that if you want to be able to survive on the ground, and remember, once you've, as a pilot or crew or a passenger on an aircraft or helicopter, once you've landed, you're not a crew member, you're not a pilot, you're a survivor. You're just like anybody else. There is a total equalization once you've landed. And in spite of anything else, you suddenly have gone from an environment which is fairly comfortable. The inside of an aircraft may be a little noisy depending on where you are, but it's still comfortable. Back to 30 below, blowing wind, middle of a snowstorm, whatever you happen to hit on the ground conditions. And you have to survive. No flight plan. Around 42 hours, flight plan, maybe less than 24 if you're lucky. But just generally, like the rule I say for anyone else, you're a field worker, you got to survive one night in the woods. You're a pilot, you got a flight plan, one night in the woods, no flight plan. You're just like everybody else. When we get out there, we have to expect to be able to survive 2 nights in the woods. Maybe stretch it out into 3 if the search takes a little longer or the conditions are bad. So, what's in this fire lighting kit? I'm going to take it apart and I'll show you, and then I'll repack it at the end. So first and foremost, I always want to make sure I have 3 means to light a fire. So number 1, a lighter. Now, normally I'd have this lighter in my pocket. So it could be considered a backup lighter, or it could be considered the only one, depending on the conditions. Functionally, I use this lighter until it wears out or breaks. That's how it goes. I'd rather keep it warm because at any cold temperatures it's done. I use it first because eventually it will stop working and I put it away and hopefully I can reuse it later. It saves my matches and strikers, and if it works right off in reasonable conditions, I'm done and I got my fire lit. Number 2, matches. Not strike anywhere matches because I'm on an aircraft. I have to understand that the only matches you're allowed through aviation safety are safety matches. Now, I have another video on safety matches that'll talk about them. This one is in a film container. They're a little hard to find, but they're the perfect size for your standard matches. So that's what I did. I took a box of these matches and I put it in here. But I didn't just shove them in because they're safety matches. You have to have the prep. So I'll pop that open and I'll show you what I did. I took the 2 sides of the box and I cut it off with an edge piece. So I cut a little bit of the box off so it had strength, and then I placed inside here a piece of double-sided tape and glued it together. And because I know that these matches are not the best matches in the world, they just aren't, I put both of these in, so I have a spare. And this is strong enough that if I need to light an actual match, I can light a match right off that. I also have 2 of them in case I drop one or let one of these get wet or it runs out. So in other words, what I've guaranteed is that these matches are in a proper waterproof container, easy to work. What's the problem with this guy? This is a better waterproof container, but it actually contains less matches and isn't as functional and harder for me to place everything in. So I tried this, it just didn't work. I discarded it and went back to a film container. So you'll have to chase down a film container, but it's worth it. What's number 3? A striker. So this is a Swedish fire steel, and it's a top-end striker. It's a small striker, but it fit nicely in the container, and it's worth having. The extra sparks you get from a proper striker is actually worth it. If the conditions are really cold, it's 30, 40 below Celsius, you gotta have those extra sparks. People that run around at 0 and -5 and 10 just have no idea how much harder it is. And because the conditions are worse in a lot of these areas, I might not be able to find good tinder. The birch bark might be lousy. I might not find birch bark. I need a good striker. What about tinder? Well, there's a big problem. Most of the good tinders, like the stuff that I would do, Vaseline coated ones, all that are technically flammable. And so I leave them alone. So here, I've got 3 pieces of tinder in a little Ziploc bag. Now, because it's cotton tinder, I double bag it. So there's a small bag here and a full bag here I'll talk about. So that's 3 pieces of good high-grade cotton. I also threw in 5 cotton balls in another little bag. So what I have is essentially 8 pieces of tinder. What did I supplement it with? I supplemented it with 3 tea lights. Again, I put them in their own bag, and they're ready to go. What that'll give me is 9 hours of candlelight. It'll also mean that I can light the striker with one of these. I can light with the striker if everything goes bad and still be able to get that fire to go. It gives me some supplemental heat depending on what's going on and a little bit of source of light. So here is the bag. The bag, it actually is an old beverage bag from an army ration, but it's just a high quality Ziploc bag. I was looking around, I happened to find one of these. I said, that'll do fine. So there's my matches back inside it. Put my striker down the side and fold that up so it doesn't get in the way of anything else. The lighter I want to keep handy in case I want to be able to, I have to put that in my pocket, depending on the situation in the aircraft. And then my tinder is back inside. They're easy to put in there. They're quite small. And there's my Mark II fire kit. Aircraft safe, ready to go. One difference between the Mark I and the Mark II. What's the deal? No heat packs, right? So I got a couple of chemical heat packs in there. They're not totally sealed in a bag sealer, but the striker is better and the matches are better. And there's more tinder involved. There's just a little bit extra. So that's the difference. Mark II, really small, lightweight, put it in a pocket, shove in my parka pocket. That's what I envision. I know I have a quality fire kit ready to go. Yeah, I'd supplement it with some heat packs. Absolutely. What don't I have? No waterproof matches, they're junk. No paper matches, they're junk, right? Everything's sealed in its own Ziploc bags inside a high-quality Ziploc bag that I can expect to be able to use. And again, some cases I pull that lighter out and put it away, put it into an inside pocket to keep it super warm, because at 20, 30 below, you'll get one strike out of the lighter and that's it. So, aircraft safe, absolutely. Made for what? Carrying on small planes, small aircraft, helicopters. Not designed to get through commercial aircraft security, right? Is there any parts of it that you can take through aircraft security? Absolutely. You can carry a lighter or the matches, one of the two. And you can pull that tinder out and shove it in your pocket or throw it into your carry-on, no problem at all. That will get through. So Will you be better off than not on the ground? Absolutely. Is there much chance of you in commercial aviation being on the ground and having to survive? No, but there's a whole lot of chance when you're flying on helicopters or small aircraft. So, if you like this useful life-saving knowledge you learned on this channel, please support me by following me on YouTube, listening and liking other videos on this channel, and by following me on BWI on Facebook. Thank you, stay safe, and if you're stranded in the wilderness, then always remember, just stop and survive.